Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the channel. I'm trying something a little new today. I've been painting minis for a hot minute. I decided to, actually record and show my process as a little bit of something different. So, bear with me. Now, I'm going to give you a quick disclaimer. In no way am I a professional. In no way do I suggest any of these tips. This is all methods to my madness and how I do things, and that process may change over time, and this is to see where it goes. I will be using paints I pretty much got on sale at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and this is stuff I've had for a while. The most expensive paints I would say I have are my metallics, and then I have some glow-based paints, which I like to use. But no, to kind of start this off, I don't use a base primer, which I know is blasphemy. But I kind of go through and I'll wet brush a very thin layer of black, and then go through and follow up with another wet brush of white, again another very thin layer, and then I'll follow up with another shade of black. As I've been painting my miniatures, I've noticed that gives me kind of a gunmetal look to my battle mechs, which is a very nice and interesting thing to see. Now, the mech I am working on currently, well, in this video, is the Warhammer 6R, I believe, which I ordered from Etsy from the user The Mech Bay. He has a cool little list out of battle mechs you can order from, which is, I think, pretty awesome because he's got some pretty cool stuff there. I ordered a Goliath, a Hatchet Man, and a few others. I just kind of had the itch, and I wasn't waiting for for the other mechs to come out, so I'm like, okay, I want to use my Warhammer now. So I'm going to order up a lance and be able to deploy it within a few days or a few nights of getting this tabletop ready. Now, after I get this primed up, I tend to go and I will dry brush almost from here on out. And I'll start by trying to get that same metallic shine coat for my Warhammer, which is the same metallic coat I used for the Wolverine I painted a while ago, and if you guys follow me on Insta or Twitter, you would have seen it. And I'll follow up by mixing a dark red with the metallic gold paint I have and getting a decent dark color, which while applying it, it looks lighter than it is, but when it dries up, it will show that gunmetal underneath, and it will darken it right down to where we need it to be. Now, once that is done, I moved over to adding the gold detail. Again, using the gold, I actually was a lot more careful, and I use a little bit of a smaller brush to help hit the panels I want to hit, which tends to be a little more in my favor, but then again, my hands aren't as steady due to the fact they're kind of going, unfortunately. In fact, during this video, I've stopped a couple of times to kind of flex out my hands and feel how they are. Now, the gold will go through, and it's just like, for me, it's trying to find parts where I'm like, what do I want gold? What do I want here? What would make these mechs pop and scream? The little Solaris jock in the back of my brain is like, add racing stripes, but I'm like, okay, the gold is my racing stripes. Well, I won't. Okay, once that's finished, I'll go through after the gold is applied, and I'll use that top coat, which is kind of like a pearlescent kind of hue. It's a magenta pearlescent paint that we picked up for my wife's battle mechs, her little pink squad of mechs, which consists of her Thunderbolt and a few others. And I'll go through and I'll brush each of the sections where it's red with it. This will kind of give it that maroon look, and with the flecks of gold, with the metallic flecks inside the red paint, it picks up very well. Now, last but not least, after I do that, I tend to add the final detail, which is using a dry brush for black. I'll go through and add carbon marks to some of the weapons. I'll go through and add carbon lining. I'll add like spots where I think carbon would build up, or spots where I think soot would build up. Now, a lot of people like to use dirt and that kind of thing, like some dirt colors, some browns and things like that. But in my mind, for my mercenaries, I view them as more of a volcanic planet kind of based unit in a weird sense. So a lot of the carbon marking is coming up from the ash, the soot, and of course, it's, in my mind, the mercenaries are not going to keep this horrifically clean, which is always kind of interesting to see. I was never a fan of seeing like battle mechs that are just straight up clean, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, you're out in the field for so long, it's gonna get dirty. And they always look like fresh out of the box and new, when these battle mechs are, you know, ancient, 300, 400, whatever, how many years old in comparison to whatever the hell just came off the assembly line. But no, this is how the Warhammers turned out. And depending on how this video is received or how it looks, I'll be going ahead and adding another video of equivalent, probably with a different camera shot. This was done with the camera like sitting on one side of my desk in front of my monitor and pointed straight down. Not a very much a flattering angle when it comes to lighting, but I was working with what I had and what space I have. But yeah, if you guys like this, please let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I might be doing this a little more. Till next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.